Well, hello everybody, those who've checked in and those who haven't. Good to see you all. We're going to do the mindfulness of breathing meditation this morning, and I just wanted, as usual, say a few words first. I've got a bit of a poem. This is by Julia Fehrenbacher, and I'm not going to read it all because it's quite long, but I'm just going to read the first bit and then say a few words. There is nothing you need to do, you know. No amount of hiding or seeking or telling or trying will erase the ache, the weight, the trembling, strangling, middle of the moment grip that threatens to feast on your core. I'll read that again. No amount of hiding or seeking or telling or trying will erase the ache, the weight, the trembling, strangling, middle of the moment grip that threatens to feast on your core. So I'll just say something about that before I read on. We spend a lot of time in our heads, don't we, in our minds, just getting anxious, planning things, feeling inadequate, arguing, having arguments in our head with some other person who isn't there. Trying to justify things. We just have this life in our heads, in our minds, that goes on all the time, and it's very tiring. And I think this becomes obvious when we start meditating. We really notice these thoughts. So this is what stops us being happy. The mind has got this project going about being happy. The mind really wants to be happy, but it goes about it in all the wrong ways. And the way to be happy actually is just to let go of thoughts, let go of these chattering thoughts. Ordinary directed thought is good. You know, if that's coming from a quiet place, it's good. But this chattering thought just makes us unhappy. It pulls us around all the time. Makes us chase after happiness, and happiness can't be chased after. Happiness is just there waiting for us. So I'll read on with this. You need only return to the part that breathes and beats and hears and sees, all on its very own, to the part that hums and sways, dreams, lullabies of peace. Come, it says, lean the weight of you against me, sit and stay, until you remember that you are tangled and woven in stardust. I'll stop there. So what we're trying to do in meditation is we're really trying to let go of this chattering mind that pushes and pulls us around in its search for happiness or contentment. Because this simply running after things and trying to avoid things doesn't create happiness. It just creates running around and going after things and trying to avoid things, if you see what I mean. The way to true happiness is simply to just accept the way things are and let the mind go and rest in this moment, just as if everything is fine. And in this moment, everything is fine. And that's all we have to do. Just be present. Of course, that's not easy, is it? Being present, being here right now. So this is what we're practicing, and it takes practice. And this moment, when you are sitting meditating and you get carried away by a thought, there is a moment, a magical moment, when you come back. You come back and know that you've been away, distracted by thoughts. So at that point, you're not usually thinking, but you are aware. You know what's been happening. You're fully conscious of what's been happening. And that is awareness. And that little gap between thoughts is what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to nurture and grow, so that we have more space between thoughts, when we're not thinking, when we're not prone to the chattering mind. We can We can reflect and plan if we need to, but we don't have to be pulled and pushed around by our thoughts. So when we're doing this exercise, this meditation today, it is in a way an exercise. When you come back after you've been pulled away by a thought, just notice that moment when there is no thought, but you know absolutely what's been happening. You are fully conscious, fully present, and that is the moment to savor. Not to get upset about being pulled away by thought. That's just going to happen. Just noticing the good bit when you come back, and rejoicing in this moment of contentment and peace when you return to full awareness. Okay, so we'll start in a moment. Just say hello to those who've just joined us. There's Karen and Merce and Shradagupta and Emily and Stephanie and Barbara. A whole host of people. Just have a look, see if... No, that's it. I'm just scrolling up, make sure I haven't missed anybody. Okay, so let's get going. And I say let's get going. We're not actually going anywhere, are we? So we're going to start by just simply just being here, just arriving in this place right now, wherever this place is. This place that I'm talking about is your being, your whole being, just as it is on this Tuesday morning. Your whole being might be in a really pleasant state, or it might be in an unpleasant state, or it might be somewhere in between the two. So wherever you are, however you're feeling, mentally, emotionally and physically, I would just encourage you to have complete acceptance of that. We're not trying to flick a switch and change things. What we're trying to do is to just notice how we are. To just settle into being who we are, how we are right now. Because that's the truth, after all. It's the way it is. And just noticing any unpleasant sensations in the body and being with them with a sense of kindness. Might be aches or stiffness or sensations that come from some emotion. Noticing the pleasant bits in the body. Those will be there as well. Just noticing the weight of the body pressing down on the chair or the bed or the floor if you're lying on the floor. And just allowing the earth to take your weight. Just letting go of any sense of holding yourself. Just relaxing. Bringing attention to the head. And particularly the skin on the top of the head, on the crown of the head. You might notice a tightness as slight subtle tightness of the skin stretched over the skull. If you can't, that's fine. But just see if you can. And moving down to the forehead. And are you frowning? Bet you are. Most of us go around with a bit of a crease in our forehead. So just let that drop out. Just relaxing the forehead. Just allowing the forehead to soften and relax. And the same for the rest of the face. Just not holding our face as we meet the world, just letting the skin sag, the muscles relax. It can be a real relief to do this. Letting your eyes be soft behind the eyelids. And then bringing our attention down away from the head into the chest. Just slowly bringing it down the throat, the upper chest, and the whole of the chest area. And just noticing what's happening here. There's the breath coming and going. The rib cage being pushed out and then contracting again. The sensations of the breath in the throat and the lungs. Just allowing yourself to, for a moment, get absorbed in that. Get lost in the sensations of the breath. So this is the mindfulness of breathing. And in the first stage, we're following the out-breath all the way from the beginning of each out-breath right to the end. And then if you wish, it helps sometimes to place a number at the end of each out-breath, beginning with 1, and then 2 on the next out-breath, 3 on the next, and so on up to 10. And then coming back to 1. And you will probably won't get to 10. You may not get past 1 or 2, and that's okay. So when you notice you've been distracted by thought, just very gently and kindly coming back to the out-breath. And with a bit of rejoicing. This moment when you realize you've been distracted is a a little moment of awakening. It's to be valued. So just noticing that, coming back to following the whole of the out-breath and the counting if you wish to count. Just following the whole of the out-breath. Not making any major effort to concentrate, but just concentrating in a relaxed, easy way, not overdoing it. So just letting go of all efforts for a moment and just checking your posture, making sure you're comfortable. And then when you're ready, we're going to start following the whole of the in-breath. And if it might help to place the number just before the beginning of each in-breath. So counting 1 and breathing in, counting 2 and breathing in again, and so on up to 10. in just the same way as the first stage. Following the whole of the in-breath. Not trying to control the breath in any way, just breathing naturally as the body wishes to breathe, and following each in-breath from the beginning to the end. So if you've been counting, you can let go of that now. And in this third stage, we're all going to move our attention to the breath in the body, mostly around the chest area to begin with. Just noticing what that feels like. the expansion and contraction of the chest. The feeling of the breath in the throat and lungs. And as we're tuning into these sensations in the chest and the lungs, and the throat, just taking in the rhythm of the breath. And as much as you can, just getting lost in that. Just allowing yourself to be drawn into the coming and going. The rising and falling. The ebb and the flow. Just noticing that lovely moment of awareness when you come back from distracted thoughts. If you wish, you can expand your awareness to the whole body. Now noticing any subtle movements in the legs and the arms and the head, as well as the chest, the abdomen and the belly too. The whole body breathing. In the fourth and final stage, we're going to move up to the area where the breath comes into the body. This could be your nostrils or your upper lip, and just noticing the sensations, the very subtle sensations as the breath passes through into your body, past the nostrils or past the upper lip. What does that feel like? Just homing in on that little area. Just bringing the whole of your awareness to this spot. If you wish, you can notice the quality of the breath, the warmth, the difference in the warmth of the in-breath and the out-breath, or the length of each breath, but not thinking about it, just experiencing it. And letting go of all effort now. And for the last few moments of this meditation, just sitting with whatever experience you have. Just observing how you are. So I'm going to ring the bell to end the meditation, and when I do, as always, just taking your time.